Coach, Desmond Claude was just talking about taking a step forward tonight and maybe just sustaining good stretches of play is something you've harped on through the first 7 games. And was it another challenge tonight, the way Houston came out shooting in the first half and the 10-0 run they had in the second half?
Yeah, the first 4 minutes of the game and the first 4 minutes of the second half, the score is 22-6. They outscored us combined first 4 minutes of the game, first 4 minutes of the second half, 22-6. And look, I don't know if that's necessarily our problem. Houston does that to a lot of teams. It's part of their identity. We talked about that before the game. We also talked about that at halftime. But it's those 2 segments that overwhelmed our ability to win. We did some great things in tonight's game. I don't know if anybody can really understand how difficult it is to out-rebound them. We had 42 rebounds to their 39. They had 14 second shots. A lot of them happened in the second half. It's what they do. I think they're one of the best to ever do it. It's what they do to every team on their schedule. But we had one more than them. We had 15 offensive rebounds. Same thing defensively. They had 25 defensive rebounds. We had 27. I think any coach that plays Houston, if you could out-rebound them, that's like step one. The second thing is, although they're a man-to-man defensive team, they're incredibly disruptive, right? They're number 2 in America in steals. They force turnovers, and they prey off your turnovers. We had long stretches where we did not turn the ball over. You know, I won't even count Davion's on the last play of the game because the game was over. But we played this game with 16. If that number was 12, I don't know if we win, but the game's going to come down to the final possession. That's what I would say. 16 turnovers to 12. We weren't able to accomplish that second goal. We had some head scratchers, illegal screens, dribbling with no purpose, abandoning our offense, and then some of it was credit Houston. But it's about rebounding and about taking care of the ball. I have no problem with our team's effort. I thought we sustained the effort, played to win, played with a great energy. And look, when you play teams like at Purdue, you play Houston, you play Washington and Las Vegas at 2 in the morning, and you come back and play St. Mary's, you come off of a tough Oakland loss. We're becoming battle-tested, and we're learning. Like, we know more about our team right now than we ever could have a month ago. Some of it's not good, but those are things we have to fix. Some of it is good. And I would just say that if you can rebound the ball with Houston, that's something we have to be able to do night in and night out, and that has to become a strength of ours.
Defensively, the way Houston came out of the gates with those 3-pointers after you were doubling the post.
Yep.
What about the second half where you're able to hold them scoreless for 8 minutes and 28 seconds? What switched up for you defensively?
You know, coming off the Oakland game, I knew that Houston would go inside early, and we elected to double team and to trap. And it's that old adage of, you know, you need to get more pressure. It's kind of like blitzing the quarterback. Just because you blitz doesn't mean you're going to get a sack. And I think in our case, part of what hurt us at the beginning of the game is we trapped. They were ready. They got the ball out like good teams do, and they made us pay. I believe they hit 3 threes in the first 3 minutes off of our post traps. When we took it off, the concern becomes, now how are we going to do if we play one-on-one? And we were fine. We really were. We did a great job. We crowded better. Our bigs were much more physical in and around the basket than they were the other night. And again, I think we adjusted to that. I go back to Houston. You know, I have a lot of respect for them. They were 21 of 61 from the floor for 34% against our defense. They were 7 of 22 from 3, 17 for 25. We fouled at the end, and they had 11 turnovers. Like, our defense was good. And we played toe-to-toe for much of the game against a very good team. Our defense was good enough to win. Where we're running into problems right now is just head-scratching turnovers when game pressure happens. Game pressure means tie score 6 minutes. Take the lead for the first time. The last 4 minutes of the game. Can you create a good shot? Can you be yourself? Can you execute? Can you play as a team? We struggle in that area, not just tonight, but throughout our schedule. And that's something we have to grow and be better at, because most of our games, tonight was no exception, it comes down to that last 8 minutes, the last 4 minutes. And we have to be better in that segment. Killed us in our last game against Oakland. Then we weren't as good as we needed to be in that same type of area here tonight. I could tell you because it's 10 new players, no one really wants to hear that, and I don't feel like talking about it. But it's hard to judge us in November because these are the things we have to just need more time with. And my hope is that sometime down the schedule that you see us in that area be better. I thought Quincy was terrific tonight. He's really starting to settle in. I mean, he had 4 assists, no turnovers, 17 points, 5 for 10 from the floor. I, as his coach, need to do a better job of creating more opportunities for him. We didn't get him nearly enough shots in the second half. So credit Houston. It's not like they're going to give him a 3, but we needed to be able to free him up a little bit more. And again, that's something that I have to do. We have to do better moving forward.
Coach, on the subject of Quincy, I remember you speaking earlier in the year about needing him to be more focused on things other than just being a shooter and scorer for your team. How much has he improved in those other areas, especially defensively?
Unbelievable. He's one of our team's best defensive players. He has embraced that. He does it every day in practice. He's our team's leading rebounder. For a guard, Quincy's one of America's best rebounders right now. He's physical. He can guard a variety of different players. I thought that was one of the things we did well tonight. We were able to guard their perimeter for the most part. Even Cryer, as great of a game as he had, he benefited from our post trap early in the game, and a couple times we lost him. For the most part, in the half court, I thought we did a good job. You know, Sheed again, I mean, he's a killer. And right when the game's on the line, he just puts you to sleep, and he makes the big play off the middle ball screen. And he did it tonight against us. But I liked our effort. I thought we had plenty of defense to win the game. We just have some guys right now, you know, it's you know, you're looking at that ocean, you're about 8 feet from it, and we're pulling up short. We're not throwing it in. We're laying, our ball's landing in the sand. We're on streaks. We need to make open threes, and we have to make free throws. If we don't make free throws and open threes, you can only play so much good defense. Look, the last part I would like to say to our crowd, thank you for showing up. Thank you for creating an atmosphere. No one's more disappointed when we lose than we are. But you have to hang in there with our team this year. First 8 games is not going to be when we're at our best. We will keep getting better as we keep moving on in our schedule. And, you know, playing at Purdue and Houston at home, 2 games that we did not schedule, there's a lot of coaches that would be absolutely shitty that we played those 2 games. I mean, those are 2 1 seeds. Not 1 seed, 2 1 seeds. Fine, we took it, we played them, but those aren't easy games if you're the best team in America, let alone right now our group. So we'll be tougher because of it, and we'll move on.
With this being a game that was like 1 or 2 possessions seemingly the whole game, I mean, you were right within striking distance. How much does that do for the young guys like Dalen and Sasha, where they're just like constantly in pressure, important moments? How much do they learn from a game like this?
I think it's the best way of learning. You know, you hope you can learn and leave with the victory. You know, I'm not going to say, hey, driving home tonight, man, we almost did it. The goal is to win. You won or you lost. We lost. And it doesn't matter, especially at this place, Cintas Center. We have to win. But there's a lot of good that we did. And when you're a young player that was in high school last year, you learn a lot of lessons when you play against the Houston Cougars. You do. You're playing against tough teams, Final Four tested, multi-year starters, great coach, one of the best offensive rebounding defensive teams in America. And it allows you to get a good feeling of how hard this is. But in their cases, that we can do it, that they can do it. And that's that growth of a freshman. You know, that adage of when they get into January and February, they're no longer freshmen. I think it's these lessons along the trail that allow you to feel that way about them. But I thought both of the 2 guys you mentioned, Dalen and Sasha, gave us some good time, gave us good minutes. We also didn't have Trey tonight. Wish we would have, but he got sick.
Sean, you guys were plus 10 tonight in the fast break. What was it about the game? Was it something what they were doing in particular, or something about just how you guys are getting better and better offensively that kind of led to you guys having that advantage?
I mean, it's hard to get that advantage. You know, we play with pace. I thought they took our pace away in the second half some. They can really wear on you with their physicality and depth and athleticism. But look, that's who we are. We like to push the pace, and I thought we could have done that better. Again, we were playing without Trey, and then we went one big short. We elected not to sub as much. Thought we wore down as the game wore down. I mean, that happens in a game like that. So, but we have to figure it out. Like we can't play you if you can't help us, and we have to play other guys more minutes. So, we're learning that. I think as we move into this week, we have a better sense of who can do what.